with anybody that harm my people, I can't with you. I'm not into it.
The complex web of relationships and allegiances in the hip-hop world is both fascinating and perilous, especially when it intersects with street culture and legal challenges. As we've seen with Lil Durk, the consequences of these connections can have far-reaching effects not just on the artists involved but also on their entourages, fans, and the entire music scene. The situation with Bricc Baby adds a layer of intrigue, with the question of whether he snitched on Durk or if it's just rumors adding to the already high tension around Durk's legal battles. Durk's pragmatic approach to the industry, especially when dealing with artists like NBA YoungBoy and others with whom he has complex relationships, shows a side of him that's aware of the business dynamics at play. This is in contrast to the more traditional street code loyalty, which often demands unflinching loyalty and retaliation. His ability to navigate the music business while also maintaining a semblance of street credibility is a tightrope walk that many artists like him are forced to do. The controversies surrounding Durk, Bricc Baby, and the wider rap world also reflect the enormous pressure placed on artists to maintain a particular image or persona, especially when street credibility is intertwined with their careers. Every move, every word, can be scrutinized and interpreted in multiple ways, sometimes leading to devastating consequences. As these legal battles unfold, it's clear that not just the artists, but their entire teams and fan bases will be impacted. Into the case of Durk, with such serious charges hanging over him, the next year could be a defining moment in his career, not only in terms of his legal outcome, but also in terms of his reputation within the hip-hop world. The loyalty breaches, and betrayal accusations surrounding his name will likely follow him long after his legal issues are resolved, whether it's in his music, personal life, or relationships with other artists. As we continue to witness these dramatic twists and turns, it's a reminder of the price of street credibility in the modern hip-hop world. Artists are forced to make choices that could either elevate or destroy their careers, with every decision echoing through their music, their business dealings, and ultimately, their legacy. Thank you for sharing these insights. If you're interested, I can look up more details on any of these topics or help with other content related to the hip-hop industry. Why do these accusations hit so hard? Because Bricc Baby's been anything but silent about it. In a sit-down with Vlad TV, he outright denied being a co-conspirator, specifically pointing to the fact that he was locked up on November 6, 2020, when the alleged link between him and Durk supposedly went down. He made it clear he wasn't involved. However, the plot thickens even further. Bricc Baby admitted that in 2023, the feds ran up on his crib, seized his phone, and found messages between him and Durk. Still, he insists those texts didn't have anything to do with snitching. It's a bold claim, but here's the catch. Some of Brick's own statements have raised a few eyebrows. In another interview with Vlad, he made a comment that seemed to hint at a what-if scenario, like a hypothetical situation where certain actions could have been justified. That kind of talk. Yeah, it's got fans questioning whether Bricc Baby's playing a deeper game. There's a deep layer to this story. Bricc Baby himself even acknowledged how easy it is for betrayal to creep in when money's tight. In one clip, he breaks down the harsh reality of street politics. You've got to pray the dudes you mess with never turn on you, because there's so much betrayal and disloyalty going around. It doesn't matter what you give them or how much you do for them. If they're up against it, they'll give up everything they know. Now, what makes this situation even wilder? Durk and Bricc Baby weren't always at odds. In fact, they were tight back in the day, collaborating on tracks like Chick for Yo Chick 2016 and Ring Ring 2015 with Kid Ink and Lil Reese. Someone even dug up a pic on Reddit showing the two in a California studio together in 2022, making it clear they were still rocking with each other not too long ago. It's this flip from being tight to being on opposite sides that makes this whole thing so messy. It's almost like a mirror image of Durk's past with Chief Keef. They started as the faces of Chicago's drill scene, but after Durk signed with Def Jam and Interscope in late 2012, things went south. The whole game flipped, and suddenly they were at odds. Back when Chief Keef was pushing his Glow Gang movement, his beef with Durk was rooted in street politics and a sense of betrayal. Durk felt like Keef was switching up by co-signing West Coast rappers like Tyga and The Game on their Chiraq remix. Unlike the Bricc Baby situation, though, Durk and Keef eventually squashed their beef in August 2014, showing that not all rap feuds end in bloodshed or legal battles. That's a rare example, though, especially considering the heat Durk's facing. Now, the current controversy has fans split down the middle. Some are calling Bricc Baby a full-on snitch, while others believe he's just an innocent bystander caught in the crossfire. Over on Reddit, one user didn't hold back, saying, "This is dry snitching as a mother." Another person was equally frustrated, questioning why Bricc would make those comments on a massive platform like No Jumper. Durk's gotta cut him off. He can't be talking like this anymore. But the mess doesn't stop there. This whole ordeal is tied to Durk's ongoing beef with NBA YoungBoy. Their rivalry started in 2020 after the tragic death of King Von and has become one of Durk's biggest conflicts. The two have been throwing shots back and forth in diss tracks, with YoungBoy dropping tracks like Bring the Hook and I Hate YoungBoy, while Durk fired back with his own diss. The tension between them has only fueled this already fiery situation. In a recent interview, Durk was asked directly about the roots of his beef with NBA YoungBoy. When asked, "What's the issue with you and YoungBoy? How did it even start?" Durk gave an honest, almost confused response. "I really don't know. I really don't. I don't know what I did. I don't know what happened. What did I do for us to be even in tune with each other like that?" This response highlights just how these rap beefs can often start, over small, seemingly insignificant misunderstandings that eventually spiral into full-blown feuds. It's clear from Durk's words that for him, this wasn't something he actively sought out. Yet the tension grew, leading to diss tracks and constant back and forth. Durk speculates that YoungBoy's frustrations might come from two things, though the exact reasons remain clouded in uncertainty. This clip really drives home the point that many rap conflicts start from unclear, even minor issues, and once they're out there, they blow up fast. What began as something small can quickly escalate, leading to real drama and division in the game. The tension between YoungBoy and Durk just took everything to another level, especially with the drama surrounding Bricc Baby. Fans are starting to see these beefs as all part of the same tangled web. What makes it even more complicated? Another member, Jam, has also been caught up in snitching rumors, with multiple accusations of him working with the police. With all these allegations flying around Durk's case, fans are on edge, trying to figure out who might be spilling information to the feds. Then, on April 9, 2025, things hit a new peak. An expose from No Jumper broke down newly uncovered federal paperwork linked to Bricc Baby's wiretaps. The documents revealed that Bricc allegedly said some wild stuff, which led to snitching accusations. The very next day, another post dropped the bomb that Bricc Baby had been denied bond after federal. Authorities used footage from No Jumper's podcast as evidence against him. These new revelations suggest that the feds might have some serious dirt on Bricc Baby, although the full details are still unclear. What makes this even more controversial is that the focus isn't just on whether Bricc Baby's been talking to the police. It's also about his past comments, which some people are calling dry snitching. He's made statements that imply criminal activity without directly saying it, and that's what's really got people questioning where his loyalties lie. One example. Back in February 2023, some of his words had fans raising eyebrows, wondering if he'd crossed the line into something much worse. Bricc Baby didn't hold back with his comments, even suggesting that people can't tell Durk to slide for King Von anymore, hinting that Durk might have already gotten his revenge for Von's death. These remarks have fans raising serious questions about Brick's loyalty and discretion. It's these kinds of comments that put him under the microscope, especially when it comes to the street code, the unwritten rules of hip-hop that revolve around loyalty, trust, and most importantly, snitching. What makes the accusations against Bricc Baby hit so hard is that they strike right at the heart of one of the most sacred principles in street culture. Never talk to the cops. The stakes are high, and the severity of Durk's legal troubles is making everyone look for who might be working with the feds. Durk's facing an intense web of charges: conspiracy to commit murder for hire resulting in death, and using firearms in furtherance of a violent crime. If convicted, he could be staring down a life sentence. The case centers around a deeply personal beef. Federal prosecutors have alleged that Lil Durk orchestrated the murder-for-hire plot to avenge King Von's death in 2020. This cycle of violence shows just how devastating street loyalty and revenge can be. Durk's beef with Quando Rondo is far different from his past conflicts. Unlike his brief issues with Chief Keef in 2014, which they later squashed, or his mostly online back and forth with Tyga and The Game, the Rondo situation has real bodies attached to it. It's the most dangerous and serious escalation Durk's ever faced, with legal consequences that could destroy both his career and his freedom. The Rondo saga also exposes how intertwined the music industry and street life have become. According to the feds, Durk allegedly offered a $50,000 fee to anyone who carried out the hit, plus opportunities within the OTF camp. This blurred line between rap and real-life violence shows just how deep drill culture's reach has gotten, and this isn't the first time Durk's been linked to violence. After FBG Duck was murdered in August 2020, Durk paid tribute to him at a 2024 Chicago concert, showing Duck's picture alongside other fallen rappers. This move, however, didn't sit well with Duck's mother, who filed a lawsuit in October 2024, accusing Durk, OTF, and King Von's estate of being involved in her son's death. The legal entanglements surrounding Durk just keep stacking up. Not only is he facing the possibility of a life sentence over the murder-for-hire charges connected to King Von's death, but another layer of drama has emerged. The mother of FBG Duck filed a lawsuit in October 2024, claiming that Durk, OTF, and King Von's estate were involved in Duck's murder. This lawsuit came after 6 individuals were convicted in January 2024 for Duck's death, further complicating Durk's legal battle. Durk himself has been open about how deeply King Von's death affected him, and the pressure he felt to avenge his homie. In a recent interview, Durk broke down the intense street politics that drive situations like this. The whole situation with Quando, how we live, and how we go about it. I'm speaking for the whole Chicago. You weren't there, so shut the fuck up. You weren't there, you made a diss and said something about Von. That's why I'm on you. You didn't do anything, you did zero. This clip really shows how personal these beefs can become, and the weight of expectations placed on artists to act on behalf of their fallen friends. Fans and peers put serious pressure on Durk to get back at those who hurt his people, and that pressure may have pushed him toward the alleged murder plot. The line between street loyalty and revenge blurs here, creating a complicated and dangerous mix. The WH. The rumors and allegations around Bricc Baby have sparked a heated debate, especially when one fan stated, "I think Durk paid for that hit. All the signs were there." Bricc Baby, however, tried to defend himself amid the firestorm of accusations. In an Instagram post from October 25, 2024, he denied any involvement in snitching, claiming he was just trolling and that his comments were misunderstandings or jokes. But this hasn't quieted the controversy. In fact, it's only deepened the discussion about what actually counts as snitching in today's hip-hop culture. Some fans argue that even though Bricc Baby hasn't directly cooperated with the authorities, his public comments, suggesting criminal activity, still violate the street code. Others point to the hypocrisy in the rap game, where artists often boast about crimes in their lyrics, but then call out others for snitching when they face similar situations. This hypocrisy isn't new. Durk himself has been outspoken about snitching, especially when it comes to his beef with 6699. Durk's problem with 6699 stemmed from his cooperation with authorities after snitching on his 9 Trey Bloods crew in 2019. Durk, like many in the rap world, saw that as a direct violation of street code. The irony now is thick. Durk might be facing betrayal from someone within his own circle, which only complicates the situation further. This internal conflict about loyalty and self-preservation gets even murkier when you consider the life-altering legal consequences Durk faces. As 1090 Jake pointed out in an interview about Durk's co-defendants, it completely depends on his co-defendants. If they testify against him, he's cooked. If everyone stays quiet, he'll be good. But it's hard for the actual shooters, the ones who've been caught and confirmed, to just say, "Yeah, I'll do life in prison. No problem." This stark reality highlights just how fragile street loyalty can be, especially when faced with the crushing weight of decades in prison. The 5 co-defendants in Durk's case, Kayvon London, Grant DeAndre Dantrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Brian Lindsay, and Asa Houston, are all faced with impossible choices. cooperate with the authorities and betray their loyalty, or stay silent and face a lifetime behind bars. The alleged murder-for-hire plot itself underscores how dangerous the mix of street loyalty and violence can be. Federal prosecutors claim that Durk allegedly offered a $50,000 fee to anyone who carried out the hit, along with music opportunities through his OTF label. This intersection of the music industry and street violence blurs the lines between business and bloodshed, showing how loyalty can be both bought and sold with deadly consequences. Another chilling detail about this case is the way Durk and his associates communicated. According to federal prosecutors, Durk used coded language when discussing the plot. One example cited by the feds was Durk telling his associates, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with Sick Me." This coded language demonstrates that Durk was aware of the potential for surveillance, a critical detail in the investigation. The surveillance footage reveals a deep understanding of legal risks, making any potential cooperation by Durk's associates more shocking to fans. King Von's murder in November 2020 continues to affect the entire hip-hop community. Von, who was killed outside an Atlanta club during a confrontation with Quando Rondo's crew, was a close friend of Durk. His death created immense pressure for revenge, with fans online constantly demanding when Durk would retaliate. This pressure shows how street codes are reinforced by fan communities, who push artists to uphold certain expectations and ideals tied to loyalty and revenge. Social media comments demanding revenge foster an environment where violence is not only expected but celebrated, placing artists like Durk in an impossible position between legal troubles and the pressure to maintain their street credibility. Quando Rondo has added fuel to the fire, responding to the tensions with Durk and Bricc Baby, hinting that the beef is far from over. In a March 2024 post on Reddit, fans analyzed Rondo's statement, "It's time to make the score 2-1, interpreting it as a threat of further violence. This ongoing cycle of threats and potential retaliation highlights how these conflicts extend beyond just the artists involved, affecting their entire crews and fan bases. These conflicts go beyond just the artists, impacting their entire crews and fan bases. Interestingly, Quando Rondo has expressed a desire to end the beef, citing his Muslim faith and a September 2024 conversation with a Muslim advisor who urged reconciliation. His October 2024 Instagram post about forgiveness was seen by many as a reference to Durk's arrest, suggesting that at least one side might be open to ending the cycle of violence. However, with Durk facing serious charges, the possibility of peace seems unlikely for now. The controversy surrounding Bricc Baby only adds more complexity to the situation. Bricc Baby also highlights the complicated relationship between Los Angeles and Chicago street politics. As an LA-based rapper with ties to the Rolling 60s Crips, Bricc Baby's connection to Chicago's Lil Durk shows how regional boundaries in hip-hop have become increasingly blurred. This cross-regional networking creates complex loyalties and potential conflicts, especially when legal issues surface. The federal case against Lil Durk adds a massive dark cloud over the entire controversy, showing just how serious his legal troubles have become. The detailed charges against him reveal the gravity of the situation and the dangerous intersection of street life and the music industry. The situation surrounding Lil Durk has raised serious concerns, especially with the snitching allegations swirling around. The charges against Durk stem from an alleged plot to take down Quando Rondo in retaliation for King Von's death. Although Rondo survived, his cousin, Savia Robinson, was tragically killed in the August 2022 shooting in Los Angeles. Federal prosecutors claim that Durk not only orchestrated but also funded the operation, offering a $50,000 fee for the hit and potential music opportunities through his label, OTF. To make matters worse, authorities allege that Durk was caught trying to flee the country, having booked flights to Italy, Switzerland, and the UAE, further complicating his already dangerous legal situation. Durk's attempt to flee the country by booking flights to Italy, Switzerland, and the UAE likely played a significant role in the judge's decision to deny him bond. The evidence against him appears to be substantial, with prosecutors presenting financial records, phone logs, text messages, surveillance footage, and even a jail call from his co-defendant Keith Jones. In the call, Jones allegedly expressed frustration that Quando Rondo wasn't killed, saying, "The big one, we missed it." This overwhelming evidence contributed to the judge's ruling, which cited Durk's influence and the flight risk he posed. To complicate matters further, prosecutors have raised concerns about Durk's potential involvement in another unsolved case in Chicago, likely referencing the 2022 murder of Stefan Mack. While Durk hasn't been charged in that case yet, the connection adds another layer to his already complex legal situation. The trial, originally set for January 7, 2025, has now been pushed back to October 14, 2025, due to the sheer volume of evidence, which includes over 230 gigabytes of digital material and 20,000 pages of documents. This delay only increases the pressure on Durk and his legal team as they prepare for what's to come. The controversies surrounding Durk, Bricc Baby, and the wider rap world also reflect the enormous pressure placed on artists to maintain a particular image or persona, especially when street credibility is intertwined with their careers. Every move, every word can be scrutinized and interpreted in multiple ways, sometimes leading to devastating consequences. As these legal battles unfold, it's clear that not just the artists but their entire teams and fan bases will be impacted. In the case of Durk, with such serious charges hanging over him, the next year could be a defining moment in his career. Not only in terms of his legal outcome, but also in terms of his reputation within the hip-hop world. The loyalty breaches, and betrayal accusations surrounding his name will likely follow him long after his legal issues are resolved, whether it's in his music, personal life, or relationships with other artists. As we continue to witness these dramatic twists and turns, it's a reminder of the price of street credibility in the modern hip-hop world. Artists are forced to make choices that could either elevate or destroy their careers, with every decision echoing through their music, their business dealings, and ultimately, their legacy. Thank you for sharing these insights. If you're interested, I can look up more details on any of these topics or help with other content related to the hip-hop industry.